Yes, sir.
No.
Far away.
All right, Bryce, talk about New Orleans so far. Have you been able to kind of enjoy it a little bit?
Yeah. It's a really fun city. It's really cool to be here. We're staying in the French Quarter, so a lot of history around here. And then we've had some stuff as a team that we've done. So it's an honor to be in such a prestigious bowl, such a great city. So we're having fun.
Bryce, I want to know, what does Alabama mean to you? A lot of rumors this might be your last game. I know it's probably you'd make your announcement on your own, but what does it mean to you over the years and the success you've had?
I mean, it's hard to put that in words. I mean, from coming here, coming here and being so much younger as a freshman, this being such a big step for me, not just on the field, but academically and as a man. Growing up, learning to be far away from family, live on my own. Obviously that Alabama gave me that on the field, to be able to play with such great players, to be coached by the best, just to be embraced by the best fan base in the country. I can't describe how much the university means to me. So I'm forever grateful. I mean, this is just having this opportunity and being here for the time has been a blessing. So I'm super happy to be a part of the team.
How much of you deciding to play in this game was also for the fans? I know you've talked about wanting to do it for the team and being a leader and playing the rest of the season, but how much of it was for the fans that maybe couldn't see you when you were hurt earlier in the season?
Yeah, that always plays a part too. We're so grateful for the support that we have, from our entire fan base, the whole community, the University of Alabama. It's a big family there, and that means a lot too. I always want to do my best, put my best foot forward. Of course, for my brothers and for the team and for us, but also for those who support us. And, we have the best fan base in the country. People that ride and die for us and support us through the ups and downs, good and bad, and are always there through it for us. And I know how much it means to us, to the community, to the state. So I always want to do my best to make all the supporters proud.
What was it like?
Thank you.
What was it like? Someone asked a really good question to your OC about, it's been new in the era of Bryce Young with NIL and everything. How do you navigate that and really, how did you handle it so far?
Yeah, like you said, with NIL, college football has been a different landscape. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that are changing. That college football has been the same for so long. Now there's so much change. But for me, I look at it as everything's been. It's been a blessing for all the student athletes throughout all the sports who've been able to be able to be compensated rightfully to be able to provide for their family, to put themselves, put others in better situations, and to do whatever they need to do with NIL. But for me, I've been blessed with having opportunities, but it hasn't been too hard to navigate for me because of just making sure that I have priorities. I made sure that the main thing was the main thing for me. That was a big thing for me and a big thing for this team. We all support each other in our endeavors outside the field, but making sure when it comes to athletics, making sure that the product, making sure that I'm working, making sure I'm doing what I have to do to put my best foot forward for the team, be there for the team. That's always been most important for me. Always will be most important. So I'm grateful for the opportunities in NIL that have come for people across the country in all sports. But at the end of the day, the most important thing for me is to be the best version of myself as a person, as a player. That's not gonna change.
Piggybacking off that for a second, when do you shoot these commercials? Do you go somewhere to shoot them? Like, what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just working them into the schedule, where into the off season, into times where I don't have any football engagements. They give us that. We all have a month off, around a month off. That we all get to go back home and do stuff. So it was making sure that it was times that I didn't have obligations with the team, times that in that month that I wasn't already working out and doing what I had to do. So luckily I have a great team, a great group of people that I work with, a lot of great players I work with that I'm able to accommodate and make sure that I was able to work around to work around my schedule. But it was just in times where I was free, I didn't have any other things I had to do for the team.
Bryce, you kind of talked about it in Tuscaloosa a few weeks ago, but obviously it's a trend for people to skip these bowl games as their high projected picks. Can you just tell us why you decided to play in the Sugar Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, how I looked at it was just an opportunity, another opportunity to play with my brothers. And I love the guys on my team. I love this team, this program. Going to work with a group of guys that I'm privileged to work with every single day. I see how hard we work as a group, how much we pour into this, and how much this means to us, how much it means to me. And you know, it was easy for me because you know, I just feel grateful that I get to go out and play with these guys, to compete in practice, to you know, share that feeling. You know, for me, looking at it, I look at it as another opportunity. And you know, for me as a leader of this team, it is something I pride myself in. You know, there's a lot that you know I think it's most important to lead by example, to make sure that anytime that I'm leading, I'm telling other people to do things. You know, I have to do that first. I have to make sure that I'm doing the right things. And, you know, I have to be comfortable being held accountable. And for me, you know, another opportunity to lead the team in every way that I can, and to be out there and to with my teammates. It was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So, you know, I'm just honored to be a part of this team. As a leader, I feel like it was important to make sure that we finish this year.
Bryce, from the beginning of the season until now, where do you think this offense has grown the most as a whole?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of growth. I think, you know, there's been so many people that were younger and had to step up to, you know, to different roles. There are a lot of true freshmen that have been playing and doing a lot, having a lot of production. I think just the comfortability of you know, it's a filling out process at first. Of course, again, it's a lot of people that are stepping into new roles they weren't used to before. And, you know, week one, there are people who came in and, you know, and were able to contribute, but really you see how much they've grown, just being comfortable. You know, getting better, making sure that they were, you know, all the little details. So I think just having time with us being on the field together, us growing in our confidence, trusting each other, I think that's probably been the biggest growth for us offensively.
Bryce, I don't think you went to the Heisman ceremony this year, right? You didn't go back?
Right.
Why not? And if you don't mind, who'd you vote for?
They tell us we're not allowed to disclose who we voted for. So yeah, they don't let us say. But you know, it was just you know, there's some stuff that I want to get done to make sure that I was good for this game. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, my body was.
Was there a disappointment level though in not repeating or at least making it back to New York?
No, my goal has never been any individual awards. You know, I was obviously blessed I've been blessed in the individual awards that I have won and I have obtained, and I'm forever grateful for those. But that's never been a goal of mine. You know, my goal always lies with the team. You know, I want us to have the most success we had. So my goal was never to do anything individually. So because of that, that was, you know, really nothing I ever aimed for.
Bryce, just sorry if you got asked about this before, but some of the younger guys, first off, early enrollees joining, what you thought of Wolstein, just early impressions there, and also Ty, how have you seen him grow over this past year?
Yeah, you know, like you said, we have some early enrollees that were able to come and join us for the bowl practices and are with us now. And, you know, I think that's, you know, I see a lot of, they bring some juice, that new energy, you know, guys going out there, you know, trying to get their footing. You know, it's kind of interesting because it's not, you know, we're not installing, we're so deep into the season, and they kind of just have to kind of try to get in where they fit in and do their best they can to contribute and learn on the fly. And, you know, I think the whole group that's come in has done a really good job with that. You know, Eli and being around, you can tell he's trying to learn everything as quickly as he can. Again, like I said, we're so deep into you know, in the game planning and stuff. It can be hard when, you know, you're just now trying to learn the offense. But he's done a good job of understanding stuff. He's been very attentive in the meetings, soaking everything in, and then you know, the reps he gets. You know, it's obviously, you know, when you first get here, you know, you get down. You know, you're in scout team and you're doing your best to, you know, to try to figure everything out there. But from the things I've seen, all the individual drills and everything, he's done a really good job of how he carries himself and you know, how he can throw the ball. So I'm excited to, you know, to continue to watch more. And then Ty's grown a lot, tremendously. Obviously, super talented, super gifted, and, you know, really just seeing him step up, you know, on and off the field, him just being more comfortable, him settling down, and, you know, as a quarterback, the more you can understand the offense, the ins and outs, you know, once you start to get that knowledge, everything, you know, becomes easier. The picture started to clear up, and you can see that growth. He's gotten so much more comfortable in the playbook from when he first got here, and that definitely shows up on the field.
How have you seen the young wide receivers progress over the course of the season?
Yeah, you know, young wide receivers had, you know, it's an interesting year. You know, came in, you know, there's been multiple true freshmen that have played a lot, made really big plays, stepped up, and, you know, that's something that's really rare, especially here, and to do it at such a high level, to come in with the professionalism that the young receivers have. You know, I always respect them for that, and you know, first it's just, you know, just trying to come in and know the plays and you know, not mess up and make sure you're doing things right. But you can see now with all the experience they've gotten throughout this year, they're so much more comfortable. They know where they're supposed to be, so they can put that much more, have that much more creativity with their routes. They know where they need to be, so they've grown a lot. So I think it's just that consistency, the experience that they've had. It leads to all the growth that we've seen this year.
Regardless of whether you're coming back or not, how confident are you in those guys' abilities when they come back next year?
Oh, I'm supremely confident. I drop back and look for the guys open. They get open regardless of what's going on. I haven't had anything to do with that all year. I can't. There's people in front of them that they have to evade, and they've been doing that all year. Those guys again are extremely talented, a great group of receivers, and for them to be so great at this age is, it's going to be really really fun to watch them grow and watch them progress. Again, just see all they've done as so many as young guys, as true freshmen. It's only up from here for those guys.
Bryce, I apologize because I know you probably addressed this, but when you talk about the fact that neither team had any opt-outs, and what does that say about this program and these programs and this game? Yeah,
that's something that we take a lot of pride in, and for them too. I think it speaks for both of our programs. Just the culture that's been built. I can only speak for us, and obviously I only know us, but I'd imagine there's similarities with that stat being the same. We take a lot of pride in who we are. We have a lot of pride in winning games, and for us, we have a standard, and that's something that we live by, something that we make sure that that we really believe in as leaders, as with myself being a leader and also on leadership, making sure that we lead and making sure that we live up to that standard. We take a lot of pride in this. It means a lot. It means a lot to everyone on the roster. That's something that was really important for us. And obviously I can only speak for our team, but with there being no opt-outs on both teams, I think that just speaks to both of the programs and how much pride and just the programs in themselves.
Bryce, as somebody that played under Bill O'Brien for the last 2 years, what would you say when you hear some of the criticisms about him from fans? And I'm sure you've heard it. Like, what's your response to that?
To be honest, I'm not huge on social media, but I can just speak from my perspective. I've learned a tremendous amount from OB. Coaches taught me so much. I've grown so much as a player under him, and getting to have the experience of him coaching the greatest, some of the best players to play the game. Him having so much knowledge, and me as a young quarterback, getting able to gain that, to learn the ins and outs of the system and see all that he's brought. It's been an honor for me to play with him for these past couple of years. Again, I've grown tremendously, and a lot of the success that I've had, a lot of success we have as an offense, that's credited to OB. The creativity, all the stuff that he brings, how he carries himself day to day. Someone who comes in and is always teaching. He's intense, he'll get after it, but he's always teaching. There's no time where he's not pushing us to be better. There's so much I've learned from him, and that's someone that I'm super close with. I have a great relationship with, so I'm forever grateful and super blessed to have him.
Bryce, when you saw Kansas State was going to be the opponent for this game, what was your initial reaction? And then as you started to learn more about the team, what kind of sticks out to you about Kansas State?
Yeah, following that, me individually and us as a team, we have a tremendous amount of respect for Kansas State. It makes so much sense why they've had so much success when you cut on the film, turn on the film and watch it for the first time when we were going to play them. It made so much sense to see, why they've been so successful, why they're, why they've had a lot of success, conference champions. It makes so much sense. That tenacity, I just watching defense, but the tenacity that they play with, very well coached, very well disciplined, top to bottom, a really good roster defensively. You can tell they play for each other, play really hard, play fast. It makes a lot of sense. Very tough physical team, and again, that stands out on film. So, just being able to watch that, seeing all the things they've done and getting to study it now, it makes so much sense why they've had so much success. And me personally, everyone on the team, we have a tremendous amount of respect for them.
Bryce, you've been asked this, I'm sure, but what has it been like handling the celebrity this year? Of being, what Coach O'Brien said, you were in a unique position, the first player in the NIL era to be, fully invested in it, all of these things, and yet you're trying to be a college student that graduated, a college player. How did you balance the two, And what advice would you give Caleb Williams to be back next year? What advice would you give to him as a returning Heisman winner?
Yeah, well, I mean, Caleb's doing just fine without my advice. I've known Caleb for a little bit now. It's super. I've had just as a fan watching. It's been super cool to watch to see all the success he's had. He's a tremendous player, great person. I have nothing but respect for his game. It's so much fun to watch. So, I don't know what advice I could give him because he's handling everything great. But for me, I've just focused on. For me, the big thing is focusing on what I can control. Focusing on the things that how I'm perceived or what people may say, think, or do around me. That's stuff that I can't control. So for me, I always make sure I keep the main thing. And for me, that's doing all I can to win football games, to play for my guys, and make sure that we're doing the best. And I make sure that that's what's most important for me. And then again, anything outside is stuff that I can't control. And I think that whether it's an opinion, it's how I'm viewed. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I respect that. But for me, I make sure that I focus on the main thing. I have a great, I'm blessed. I have a great family, a great team, a great group around me. That makes sure that it keeps me humble. And again, for me, the biggest thing is to try to be a man of God. So that's all that I live my life around. So regardless of how I'm perceived, I just push myself every day to be better, and I focus on doing my best game.
So Matt Corral played in this game last year. Do you remember anything about that, or did you consider that at all in making your decision?
Yeah, I know Matt Corral, SoCal kid. I know Matt, and just from knowing college football and being a fan. Yeah, I watched the game. Yeah, I know he got hurt, and I put my faith in God. I walk through faith, and again, for me, this is an opportunity, again, to play with my brothers again, to play with my team, and that was enough for me. Again, I put my faith in God. I trust in God. I know that everything that happens for a reason. There's always things that happen, but again, I walk by faith. I know Matt Corral. I have a lot of respect for him and for his game. But I know what happened. I understand what happened, but again, I walk by faith.
Some of the Kansas State players are talking about your ability to extend plays. How important is that under pressure to be able to keep plays alive, I guess, in your arsenal?
For me, it's just trying to take what the defense gives me. That's the biggest thing that we pride ourselves offensively in, making sure that we're multiple. We can do what the defense gives, and for me, that's been a part of my game. Large in part because of the offensive line. They've done a great job. Throughout my career, allowing me and giving me time to extend plays. A lot of times, if I'm running around or I sit back there and it looks like I'm, doing so much to do that. A lot of times it's because the line allows me to do that. They give me the time to sit back, to allow me to roll out, stuff like that. A lot of that comes from having the great O-line that I've had these last couple of years. And, for me, it's all about just taking the defense.
One of them said that compared you kind of to Patrick Mahomes in that you also, when you keep the place alive, or looking downfield, you're not necessarily looking to run. Is that something that you've kind of developed the ability to?
Yeah, again, for me, it's just trying to, each time that, if I am extending a play and I'm outside pocket or for whatever reason, just doing what's best for the team. I'm taking what the defense gives. It's throwing the ball, or running the ball, it's running the ball. But, each time I just try to make the best decision for the team.
Bryce, Coach O'Brien obviously had worked with Tom Brady for years in New England. What's the best story he's told you about working with Brady? Is there something that he shared with you to tell his success story?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that he shared wasn't, about, maybe an extra O or him, how we could throw the ball, but really about his mindset, how meticulous he was in his approach and his preparation for the game. I don't think a lot of the things he told me, I'm definitely not at liberty to say publicly, the specifics, but just hearing his approach, hearing his process, how he prepared for games, you know, the steps he took, taking care of his body, the steps he took, you know, the routine he had, the rules he had for himself. You know, I've gotten some of that from OB, and you know, that's advice that I hold on to forever. I'm hearing stuff like that, and again, I'm sorry, I can't, you know, I definitely can't get
We
that
talked
stuff
about the
out.
TB12 diet, but obviously New Orleans, not a lot of that is being followed when it comes to the food. If there's one dish you could have here every night, what would you have and why?
I had there's like a seafood platter. It was like there's like some. I'm normally don't eat like a lot of fried foods, but there was like a fried seafood platter. I love seafood, so it was really good. There's like oysters, there's a soft shell crab, fish, shrimp. It was really good. So I don't know if I could do fried food every night, but I had that. It was really good.
Thanks, Bryce. When you first heard K-State, did you know anything about them at all?
Yeah, of course. Of course. I mean, Kansas State has been a program that's had a lot of success. It's been a storied program for a long time. You know, again, they're a really good team. You know, me and Division, us as a unit, we have a lot of respect for them. And you know, for me, when I got to, you know, the team was announced, and you know, the next step from there is to actually cut on the film and to watch. You know, it made so much sense when I watched the film. You know, me, I'm only watching defense, but just through watching defense, just seeing how they played, how they flew the ball, how tough they are, it's nasty. They're extremely well coached, top to bottom, have a great roster. So, you know, it makes sense to see the, you know, conference champions and all that stuff makes sense to see the success that they've had. So, you know, I definitely knew how good they were, how much of a challenge they were, but I didn't understand as much until I watched the film. That even just made it more. You know, I knew they were good, and then watching the film, you get that proof of what makes them so good, why they are like they are. And you know, we know it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us. It's going to take everything. So we're just trying to do our best to, you know, have the best preparation possible to put ourselves in the best circumstances.
Bryce, you've talked about how important this game is to y'all, but it seems like a lot of your fans are disappointed. They're not coming in their usual numbers. Does that disappoint you, or do you understand their feeling? Hey, you know, Alabama's not in the playoffs.
I mean, our goal, of course, is always, you know, we always have you know, big goals in the offseason, but I think, you know, the fans, I think that they, you know, we have a great fan base. It's the best fan base in the country, and you know, regardless, we have high expectations for ourselves. They have high expectations for us, and you know, that's what we love. That's why you come to Alabama. And you know, we know that again. There's obviously high expectations, but through all of that, people think they support us. They're always rooting for us. Always wanting what's best for us in the program. And again, we do everything we can, and we lean on that. You know, we lean on that from the fans, from everyone who supports. And again, we have the best support system in the country. You know, and I really think it speaks to the competitiveness of that fan base, and that's what we love. That's why you come to Alabama. You know, all of our fans care so much about the school, are so deeply invested in. As players, myself personally, us as a team, we're so grateful for the investment from our fans.
What about the school stepping up for you and the other guys that might have been thinking about opting out with the insurance, extra insurance?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's, again, it just speaks to the class act of the university, of the program. You know, again, from top to bottom, since I've been here, knowing everything that goes on, this school, this university has always been a class act, always done the right thing, and you know, I think it just reflects that.
What about Eli Holston coming in as early enrollee? What have you seen from him?
Yeah, you know, it's difficult coming in this early. You know, with us being in bowl practice, you don't get to go through the normal installs. You don't get to start with day one install like most of us did when you get here. So, you know, he's adapting on the fly. It's hard. You come in and we're game planning, and you know, you're still trying to. You only had a couple days with the playbook, and all of a sudden, you know, you're on to, you know, the last game of the season and how deep we are in the playbook. But he's done a really good job of adjusting to that, of adapting. Super attentive in the meeting rooms. You can tell he's eager to learn. And then, you know, when he does get out there, you can tell he can throw really well. Super natural thrower. So, you know, it's early, but you can tell just from, again, how attentive he's been, how quickly he's been picking things up. And again, it's hard to pick things up under these circumstances, but he's been picking things up really well. So, you know, I'm excited to watch his development in the future.
We're going to start wrapping these guys up pretty quick.
You
So
played
we need the others.
You played in a lot of big arenas, but have you ever thought about playing the first game in the Superdome with all the history, championships, Super Bowls that have gone down there?
Yeah, you know, this is super story stadium. You know, this is one of those stadiums. Just growing up as a kid, you always hear about. You know, I'm from California, so I'm far away. I never thought I'd be able to play here. I never thought I didn't think I'd ever even be able to see it. So again, NFL and college, there's so much history at this place. It's definitely huge for me. It's huge for us as a team. We take a lot of pride in that. It's a huge honor to be able to play on that field.
Hey, Bryce, my name is Matt. I'm with Kansas State Radio Network. You got the A on the helmet, and there's been a lot of pretty good players that have suited up in the uniform before you. The word to describe you as consistent. Is it hard to just be yourself and be consistent considering the uniform that you wear every week?
Honestly, I think that the uniform, being a part of the program is what helps me and pushes me to do that. That's what we pride ourselves in. For us, the standard, it's not just about what you can do one time. It's not just about what you can do at your best. It's making the right decisions, doing the right things every single time, every single day when you don't feel like it, the ups and downs, the good and bad days, not just on Saturdays, every single week. And even when you're not, practicing, maybe it's on your own, it's on the weekend, whatever it is. So I think that just being a part of this program has pushed me and allowed me to be even more consistent, because again, that's what we pride ourselves in that consistency. And again, it's not just in a stat line or performance on Saturday. It's every single day. It's all the little things. And I'm far from where I want to be. I'm far from perfect. I still want to be more consistent in a lot of the things I do in my life. But that's something I pride myself in. I feel like I'm going to forever be pushing myself in to be better in that category.
Bryce, there's a fine balance between you making a personal decision, like saying you want to play in this game, versus not. There's other times where people in your position want to be leaders and help set a trend, a tone. How do you feel about this? Because everyone's watching when you say you want to play. Would you like that to be a leadership position and other players think about it a little differently because you've done it, or is it just, hey, I want to play?
For me, it was just what I wanted to do. So that I wanted to play. It was what made sense for me. It's what I wanted to do. But I think that's what was right for me. I think when you talk about people across the country in the future, in the past, whatever it may be, you can't put everything into a box. There's no way I could ever understand. There's no way anybody from the outside that's not the person making the decision could understand all the circumstances, all the things that that are public knowledge, all the things that are private that we don't know. There's so much to consider, and again, I know what makes sense for me. I know what I wanted to do, but that's not to say that was what's universally right, what universally should happen. Again, that's what was right for me. That's what was what I chose to do. That doesn't. I don't think that means anything for any other decision. I have respect for all the players with whatever decision they've made, regardless of whatever circumstance they are. Being a student athlete is difficult. It's a blessing. I'm super blessed and honored to be in the position I am, but it's hard. There's a lot of things. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that I think as a student athlete, there's a lot that isn't public that not maybe everyone understands. And I think that again, just because something was right for me doesn't mean it's a universal thing. It shouldn't be what's right for everyone else. And regardless of what people's decisions are across the country this year, in the past, or in the future, I'll always support them.
You got great coaches and a great support system as a college athlete, but you also have guys that are in the NFL from Alabama, quarterback that aren't that much older than you. Do you have contact with them, friends? Are you not looking ahead for advice, but just you learn from them, talk to them at all?
100%, yeah. Like you said, there's been so much greatness that's come through the program, and a lot of that is carried over to Sundays for NFL. And I definitely seek advice from those guys a lot. And anytime I can get some wisdom. I can be around guys that are doing it at a high level, doing it at the next level, that that I look up to, that I've seen the success, and something that that I value. That's always huge for me. I always look to get more wisdom and learn whenever I can. And with so many people, I can do that. Having the same college experience as going to Alabama, I don't think you can say that about anywhere else. So I think that's one of the huge advantages of being here, and I'm super happy to be a part of the program.
You've had to prove yourself throughout your career, through high school to college. Now that you're established yourself again as an elite quarterback, going to go back into the draft, are you kind of excited about getting back and improving yourself again, and kind of being in that stage where you're going to be evaluated that way? And
yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, all I've been thinking about is this game. whatever happens in my future is something that I'm going to figure out. But I haven't put any thought into that. It's been all about doing what I can to put myself and us as a team in the best position, to have success against Kansas State, which is going to be a huge challenge for us. So really, that's the only place my mind's been at.
All right, thanks, Bryce.
Thank you, guys.